home. Hope you are all able-managed, or well, you are all managing to be able to eat healthy as well. But should you be one of those people who actually need advice and tips on how to do so, then I do believe our speaker for today, Dr. Zeeni, is the right person to do so. Dr. Zeeni, by the way, guys, is an associate professor in nutrition in the School of Arts and Science, and her talk today will actually allow us to determine what is fact from what is fiction when it comes to eating healthy. So, Dr. Zeeni, may I kindly ask you to take over from here, please?
Thank you very much, Dr. Talib. So first of all, I'm really very happy to give this webinar today. I'd like first to give you a bit of background on why I chose this title. Believe it or not, we are exposed to so much misinformation regarding the topic of nutrition. So whether you open Google, magazines, social media, there is so much wrong information everywhere. So as a scientist, I thought it would really be nice to give a simple, fun webinar to restore a bit the truth. Okay, so whatever information I'm going to give you today is what is backed up by repeated studies and by science. I will start with just a background about how this confinement that we are living is affecting our eating habits. What are the challenges that we're facing in terms of eating habits? But we'll also see that there are going to be a lot of opportunities to make new habits. Then I'll give you some statements and I'm going to ask you if they are facts or fiction. Now, the way you can answer me, if you look at the bottom of your screen, there's something called reactions. Okay, in the reactions, you can either choose the clap. Okay, now I don't want you to consider it as a clap. I want you to consider it as a slap. So if you think what I'm saying is a myth, just slap it. And if you think what I'm saying is a fact, then you can just do the thumbs up. This way, your clap and your slap, I can see them, and then we can see how many people think that it's a myth and it's a fact, just qualitatively to have a bit of fun. And I will end the presentation, of course, with some tips. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing my screen with you. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. So, first of all, I know there are so many jokes going around and everyone is making fun of the situation and how we're snacking all day long. So yes, there are challenges in terms of eating healthy by the fact that we are really confined. So let's take a little moment and think about what these challenges are. The first thing, we're home all day. So when you're home all day, you're usually bored, at least some parts of the day, and you have a tendency to snack to kind of fill this void and this gap. So that's definitely one challenge. The second challenge is that most of us are stressed or anxious. And so when we're stressed and anxious, some of us will have a tendency to eat more, to snack more. And that's what we call emotional eating. You know, when you're angry or you're sad or you're stressed, you kind of tend to eat more and maybe not taste the food properly. And you would go for comfort foods that are high in fat and sugar and that are more fattening. Also, what we are living is a lack or at least a change in our daily structure. So usually if you're a parent, you have kids, they go to school, they come back at a certain time, you go to work, meals are usually pretty much fixed, you make lunch boxes, etc. So now everything is kind of a mess, which makes it also more challenging to have appropriate and healthy eating habits. The last point is about physical activity. So first of all, we cannot no longer have team or group sports. So if you're a basketball player, football player, هيدا كله خلاص. And also we do not have access to gyms, which also makes it harder to do some physical activity. And on the other hand, we're also increasing sedentary activity. So most of us are watching more TV, spending more time on social media. And this also often comes with snacking. So definitely, all these jokes that are circulating on WhatsApp, etc., they have some basis. Now, I'd like to look at this issue from another perspective, and let's try to see what types of opportunities we have, given that we're confined and given this whole situation, to eat healthy. So there's always an opportunity. First of all, most of us are starting to eat more and more home-cooked meals because we're afraid to get deliveries. I'm talking not about supermarket deliveries. I'm talking about restaurants, and we basically cannot go out. Now, there is one very big advantage to eating home, guys, and it's the fact that you know exactly what's in your food. When you eat processed foods, when you eat restaurant foods, you are eating much more salt, much more fat, much more preservatives, additives than you think. So whenever you make your food at home, you can choose to cook it in a certain way or another. And another thing, a very good news, is that actually you don't need to think a lot, spend a lot to eat healthy. And our Lebanese traditional foods, Lebanese stews, are among the healthiest meals if I combine all cuisines in the world. So البازلا ورز, اللوبيا الرز, الفاصوليا, المجدرة, كل هول الأكلات, they are very healthy. أكيد as long as they're made in a healthy way, not with too much fat, of course, بلا سمنة. But the basic recipe is actually the healthiest thing that you can consume. And so most of us are consuming more of these, and that's actually a very good thing. It's complete and it's not too expensive. You don't need to go and buy quinoa and kale or the latest fashionable food to eat healthy or to have a complete balanced diet. Also, there is an opportunity. ما هيك قاعدين بالبيت. You have a lot of time on your hands, even if you're working from home. Just think about the time that you're saving by not commuting. So you have a lot of time to be physically active. And contrarily to what some people think, all types of physical activity count the same when we're talking about burning calories or we're talking about being fit and healthy. I'm not talking about shaping your arm or a certain muscle. I'm really talking about the effect on health and burning calories and maintaining weight. So if you're cleaning, إذا عم بتمسحوا الإزاز vigorously, you are burning a lot of calories. If you're running around and playing with your kids, you are burning a lot of calories. There are many things that you can do in the house. Okay, you can walk in the house, it's the same thing. So really, you can do a lot of physical activity while being confined. Another way to look at this, and I think this is not only for nutrition, this is for everything. This kind of parentheses, and I hope it's a parenthesis in our life, is an opportunity. It's like a blank slate. It's an opportunity to make new habits, to discover new things. So you can change a lot in your life today because simply it's like a reset. So today is the time to make new healthy dietary habits, to get used to cooking certain things, to making a new routine and a new schedule. And finally, what's nice also about this period, for those of us who are lucky to live with our families, is that you can really use the bonding with your family, the time that you spend with them, to consume good meals, healthy meals, to share these ideas, and also to do some physical activity together by playing or by even cleaning together or sports together. Now, let us move to the myth versus fact. So let me start with my first statement, and I hope that through these, also you can get a better idea about healthy eating, and of course, we'll have some tips at the end. So, first one, myth versus fact. Whole wheat bread has less calories compared to white bread. Whoops. I can't see the chat box. Let me check. Okay, I need to do this maybe to see the chat box. 1 second, guys. I would like to see your responses. I'm sorry, it's my first webinar. Okay, there it is. Okay. Okay, so you know what? You can just, instead of the reactions, what you can do is just, you can write myth or fact, okay? Or you can write slap. So I see a lot of myth. Myth, myth, myth. A couple of facts. Okay, guys, yalla, yalla. I want to see some more interaction here. Myth, myth, fact. Okay. So it is a myth, okay? I know we have a tendency to call it خبز الرجيم, okay? And I want to make a very big distinction between something that is healthier and something that is less fattening or has less calories. Definitely whole wheat bread is healthier, okay? However, the calories are very comparable. So for a slice of white bread compared to a slice of whole wheat bread, we have approximately the same calories. But definitely the whole wheat bread is healthier because it contains more fibers, and fibers, they increase satiety, يعني بيشبع أكتر هيدا الخبز, and بيسهل transit, okay, so you digest better. Plus, it is richer in vitamins and in minerals that are very healthy. So definitely the whole wheat bread is healthier. However, it is a myth that it is less fattening or that it contains less calories, okay? So, are we ready? خبز المرقوق والقمح الأسمر, yes, come in. This fits into whole wheat bread. It's all the same, okay? By the way, if you have any comments, you can write them on the chat box. And also for all the questions, we're going to have a question session at the end. I'll be happy to answer anything you want as long as I know the answer. Now, another one, very important. Calories eaten at night are more fattening than those eaten early in the day. يعني أنا إذا أكلت بالليل دش بالليل رح ينصحني أكتر من ما إذا أكلته زيته in the morning or at lunch. I see a lot of facts, a lot of myths. Fact with 4 A's. Come on, people. Not more fattening, but we have less time to burn. Myth, myth, fact, fact. Okay, are you ready for the answer? This is a very... Wait. Okay, my slide is blocked. This is a very big myth, guys. Okay, calories are calories. You have to think of our body just like a bucket. Whatever you put in it, okay? If you put carrots, if you put them in the morning or at night, they're still carrots, okay? So actually, no, it will not change what you burn or if you burn them or not. And you should not visualize things like that, okay? It's not if I had a chocolate bar, I'm gonna burn it right after. It's like it fits into this bucket or in this pool, okay? It just adds up the amount of calories. Now, one thing that is true is that if I eat heavy at night, I'm gonna lie down after. So in terms of digestion, it's gonna be harder to digest, okay? So that's why you feel that you feel a discomfort. But in terms of actual calories and potential to gain weight, it's exactly the same. Someone said the last meal should be at 7. Of course, it's better to have our last meal a while before we lie down, especially for those of us also who have reflux, okay? Because it's easier to digest, we will feel more comfortable. And the reason that if you don't have dinner, you feel thinner the second day is that it's been more than 12 hours that you didn't have food, so your tummy had the time to digest everything, so of course you're gonna feel leaner, okay? A calorie is a calorie. So if you're gonna eat a certain amount of calories, it doesn't matter at what time of the day you actually consume them, okay? Will you bring forward to the following day an amount of non-digested food? Absolutely not. It will just take you a bit more time to digest, but no, you don't bring it to the second day. Digestion is right after you consume the food, it starts and it's ongoing, it never stops, okay? So, ready for the next one? Olive oil is healthy, therefore it can be consumed in unlimited amounts. Myth, 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 myth. Tab, why? Who can tell me why? Why is it a myth? Come on, shoot a reason. Healthy but caloric. Too much of anything is bad, I definitely agree. High in calories, it's still fat. Contains a lot of triglycerides. Everything consumed shouldn't be unlimited. Okay. It has fat, it is fat, absolutely. 135 calories per tablespoon. I see a dietitian here. Okay, so let me move one slide to see. So first of all, let me start by saying that definitely, olive oil is super healthy, as you know it. But first of all, olive oil is very healthy as long as it's consumed cold. Any oil once past its smoke point, تعرفوا بس نقلة أيام بيطلع دخن كتير. Any oil past its smoke point undergoes chemical changes that makes it less healthy. And the problem about olive oil specifically إنه smoke point تبعها واطي. So very quickly it starts smoking وبيتغيروا properties. So olive oil is extremely healthy. It's very good for the heart as long as I consume it cold. يعني على التبولة, على الحمص, على الميزة. It's amazing. Okay. However, as one of you said, an excess of anything is bad, definitely. And I want you to keep something in mind. And olive oil is fat. Fat is very rich in calories. So what will determine my body weight is the amount of calories or energy that I take in compared to the amount that I am burning. So رح يطلع الكاونت كتير بسرعة إذا عم ضلني حط olive oil على كل شيء. And the reason for which I'm telling you this is that I've seen from my own discussions with people and practice, etc., that there is this confusion between being healthy, which is extremely true, and its potential to make you gain weight or the calorie content. So definitely, including olive oil is a good idea. And if you want to know the quantity, the recommendation is 2 tablespoons per day. So moderation is the key. So we want to have this very healthy cold olive oil, but not an unlimited amount if we're looking to control our weight. Okay? Now, moving to the next one. Skipping breakfast makes me eat less overall. And I'm going to extend this. And I'm going to say, skipping a meal makes me eat less overall. Myth, myth, myth. Nothing makes me eat less. شو يا شربل? Myth, 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 myth. It's the opposite. يا ريت. Definitely myth, metabolism will be lower, hence eating more. Skipping a meal can make you binge eat. The best meal is the breakfast. That depends. This is a personal preference. I hope so. Okay. Actually, intuitively, yes, if you skip a meal, you're eating less. So your amount of calories is less compared to usual. But what happens, and I'm extending again, I'm not only talking about breakfast, I'm going to talk about breakfast. But in general, what happens when you skip a meal is that at the following meal, you are over hungry. And so you end up eating much more than the 2 meals combined. And this is evidence-based. This is based on studies. لأنه you become too hungry and you eat more and you eat faster. Now, specifically about breakfast, it was shown, studies have shown that people who skip breakfast actually end up eating more compared to people who have breakfast. And there's another thing about breakfast is that it kicks your metabolism. It makes your metabolism start, because every time I consume food, actually my digestive tract works a bit. And it helps with your energy levels and focus. Breakfast is in the morning, so it's been all night that you didn't have food, okay, since the dinner on the day before. So you need some quick energy to be able to focus more, etc. So actually breakfast is it's a good idea to have breakfast, and it's a bad idea to skip meals. And believe it or not, Anjad, repetitive studies have shown that people who skip meals have a tendency to gain weight. And people who tend to have a good weight regulation usually have 3 meals and 1 or 2 snacks per day. Someone asked, better to skip dinner? No, Nadine. Nadine, listen, actually, no. And this joins also the other myth that we discussed, and the fact that having dinner, actually having your calories at night or for lunch is the same. Okay. From my experience, I have gained weight. Yes, absolutely. What about fasting and 1 meal a day diets? Okay, I expected that the topic of fasting would be open because of all these fashionable diets, the intermittent fasting, etc. So actually, there is these diets where you're supposed to fast for, I don't know, I think it's you eat during only 8 hours of the day or something like that, 8-16, thank you, or 12-16. These diets, they work in the sense that usually you lose weight, but the problem is that you cannot continue them, and they are not compatible with your with lifestyle, because you're restraining your eating to only 8 hours a day, so you cannot do them continuously. And the fasting, actually, you said that it's good to fast. It has been shown in some studies that intermittent fasting can be beneficial for people who have cancer, not as prevention. It might be beneficial, but for a regular healthy person, there is no actual health benefit to fasting. I'm talking again evidence-based, what has been shown in repetitive high-quality studies and constitutes evidence. So I really don't recommend the fasting. You won't be able to sustain it. You will be in a bad mood because you're not getting quick energy inside your cells. So really, this is not something I recommend. Plus, you're going to have many cravings and end up overeating. Okay, let's move to the next one. I need to go on a detox diet from time to time to cleanse my body. Okay, so a detox diet or juicing, it can help remove and wash out all of these toxins and these bad compounds that are in my body. I can feel better physically, mentally, and I can lose weight. I'm not credible? Myth, myth, myth. There is no such thing as a detox diet. A detox is on its own. You guys are good. Fact. Mixed feelings. Temporary result. Didn't work for me. Okay. Okay. So this is I'm not gonna say myth. I'm gonna say it's a big myth. Okay. Very, very big myth. Juice diets or fasts, أكيد they're going to lead to a decrease in weight on the scale. Basically, you're eating almost nothing, okay? But most of the weight that you're losing is actually body water, because your body is in a state of starvation or an emergency state. So you're going to lose your water, you're going to lose a bit of muscle mass, and you're going to lose very little, if no fat at all. Plus, it actually, in case you've tried it and you felt relaxed, this is purely a placebo effect. Usually people get angry after a while because they're hungry and they're not getting the nutrients that they need. And for all the people who are selling a detox diet, I always ask, طب what are these toxins؟ سموا لي اياهم، شو هن هول التوكسينز يلي الديتوكس دايت رح تشيلهم من الجسم. And no one has an answer, just a name of a toxin. ما في. So this is a pure invention. Please don't spend money on this, okay? And we actually have our detoxifying system, and some people answer this. It's called the liver and the kidneys then that throw it in the urine. So we have a liver and a kidney, they detoxify the body. A juice diet or a detox diet will not do anything in terms of cleansing the body, and they are not efficient for long-term weight loss. Fasting in general helps the immune system. Again, regarding fasting, the only thing, and please be careful about what you read in articles. What articles, where, is it just one study? Is it reliable or not? Until now, what has been shown repeatedly in some studies, but not to the point for it to be evidence, is that fasting, intermittent fasting, can have positive effects on tumor growth in patients who have cancer. Until now, there is no evidence that fasting in general has any effect whatsoever on the immune system. Again, you cannot rely on one isolated article. Tisane or plant extracts, they're very good for health. There's no harm at all. They have some phytochemicals, but they are not food. They are something that you consume in addition to your diet. Next one. Weightlifting leads to bulking in women. So I hear a lot of women who who are completely against weightlifting, okay, because they feel that it will make them look fatter or more bulky. So what do you think about that? Myth with an exclamation point. Huge myth. It actually helps in burning calories, not bulking. I don't know what is weightlifting. Basically, يعني حديد, weights. Feminine question, Jean-Claude Male. One question for women, it's okay. Should be done in an appropriate way. Weightlifting will increase muscle mass. Okay. Okay, so this also is a myth. Women, first of all, have lower levels of testosterone, which is the male sex hormone, which helps in building muscles. That's why males naturally have more muscular mass compared to females. So it's harder for women to build muscle tissue in the first place compared to men. However, weightlifting is actually very much advised, as long as it is done with a trained professional to avoid injuries, because it actually leads to calorie burning. It increases metabolism. It decreases injuries and back pain because the body becomes stronger, and it improves mood just like any type of physical activity. It is very good for the mood. So this is definitely a myth. It is recommended to do resistance exercises twice a week for males and for females. It's really extremely good for the body's health, for the strength, and it allows you, as you age, if you wish to be more active as you age. Of course, combining it with cardiovascular exercise is even better. Okay. Someone is asking which one is better, weightlifting or Pilates? Pilates actually works on strengthening the muscles. So I would say it is the same, okay? Both these activities strengthen the muscles. When I said weightlifting, I mean any types of activity that strengthen muscles. Muhammad is asking a question. If a female has a lot of fat, is it advised to do weightlifting? Absolutely. And this is kind of a sub-myth to this myth. And it goes for males and females. There is the theory that if you exercise while you are doing a diet, or if you have too much body fat, you will have a layer of muscles above the fat, and this is wrong. And actually, you know, muscles, they are more dense compared to fat tissue. So in terms of volume, if you remain the same weight, okay, exactly the same weight, but you are making muscles while keeping the same weight, you're actually less in terms of volume, okay? How many kilos to start with? This is a very specific question. I'd rather, it depends on every person, your body, etc. I'd like you to ask a professional trainer. I don't know you. Elvire said, replied 1. Yes, 1 is a good start. Okay, next one. Cow's milk is unhealthy. So recently, there is a lot of propaganda against cow's milk. A lot of people are spending a lot of money on other types of milk, sometimes simply because the taste is better, and sometimes because of very strong beliefs that cow's milk is unhealthy. So I see a lot of myths. Someone is asking if all of them are myths. My answer is no, not all of them are myths. Made by angry vegans. If not pasteurized, no, we're just talking about pasteurized milk. Definitely, in terms of safety, we're comparing different types of milks that are all pasteurized. Okay. So for lactose intolerance only, okay, we can take Laban instead. Now, cow's milk is not unhealthy. Cow's milk is healthy. It gives very high quality proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals. It's a very good source. And yes, you replied that some people have lactose intolerance. It's very true. And for lactose intolerant people, actually, they can have access to lactose-free milk. And there are a lot of Lebanese brands that started making lactose-free milk. But if you're not lactose intolerant, then actually cow's milk is very healthy. Yes, you can take Laban instead if you don't like milk. Laban is a dairy product. And you asked about skim milk. And in my next slide, I have a table that compares the different types of milk, just so that you have an idea. So, you know, for cow's milk, usually you have the whole milk, the low fat, which is the 1% milk, and the skim milk, which is 0 fat. So the only difference between these milks is the amount of fat. I'm talking the cow's milk, okay? So the calorie decreases, but all of the rest of the nutrients are still there. So definitely skim milk is a very nice option to get all of the high quality protein, the minerals, the vitamins, without having too much calories. And if I compare the cow's milk to the other types of milk, I actually see that cow's milk has a higher amount of protein, which is very good. And this is complete protein, especially for kids who need to grow and who need high quality protein. It's really good. Especially the skim milk. Okay, I see if I compare it to the other types of milk, in terms of calories, it's still very reasonable. 80 calories, ما كتير بيفرق عنه هليك, plus it has the higher quality protein, so it's really, really very good. Robin is asking about calcium for the bones. Most of these milks actually they contain calcium, or the other milks they add calcium when they fortify them with calcium. So usually calcium you find it across all milks because everyone is looking for calcium. Soy milk is okay, but what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that the other milks are not good. I'm just saying that don't panic about cow's milk. It's very healthy. It's the cheapest, the most available of milks. And it is really not a big issue to just consume cow's milk. Now, if you have a preference, a taste preference for another milk, or if you have lactose intolerance, then yes, you might opt for another one. By the way, guys, if I am skipping some comments, I'm really sorry, because as you see, there are many comments very quickly. So I'm sorry, it's not on purpose. And then don't hesitate at the end of the session to write your questions again. Inflammatory, this is what I was talking about. There are a couple of isolated studies that show that they increase inflammation cow's milk, but it's really not enough evidence. Okay, and for the question about powder milk, yes, powder milk is equally healthy to natural milk. Natural milk is fresher, دايما أحسن, but powder milk is also fine. Okay, let me check the time. Okay, we're good on time. Okay, reducing salt leads to weight loss. Leads to less water retention. Fact, myth, fact. Okay. Okay, it's written myth, but actually, if I really look at the statement, I just realized this. It will lead to weight loss in terms that if I reduce salt, my weight on the scale will be lower, okay? But it's actually water loss. So it's not loss from body fat. So yes, my weight will go down on the scale, but it's not, if you wish, permanent or useful weight loss, because water is not harmful. It is not fat loss. Because, as most of you know and replied, salt increases blood pressure, okay? And it increases water retention. So that's why if you reduce salt, then your weight will go down because you will have less water retention in your body. It's important to reduce salt, especially for people who have a high blood pressure or hypertension, but it has nothing to do with gaining or losing fat, okay? Exactly. It's not about the numbers on the scale. Now, frozen fruits and vegetables are as healthy as the fresh ones. What do you think? Myth, fact, myth, fact. Okay. A lot of myth, a lot of facts. A lot of facts. They will lose vitamins. Okay, guys, this one is actually a fact. If not exactly as healthy, they are almost as healthy. Because usually fruits and vegetables that are picked to be frozen, they are frozen at their peak ripeness, and and studies have shown that they have a comparable vitamin, mineral, phytochemical, اللي هو هن the most interesting nutrients, the healthiest nutrients of fruits and vegetables, compared to the fresh ones. So actually frozen are a very good alternative to fresh fruits and vegetables. Of course, fresh are usually less expensive, so go for fresh whenever you can. But if you can't have, if you have no other choice, then frozen fruits and vegetables are actually a very good alternative. Okay. Now, that's one of the classic ones. Carbohydrates that are very common in bread, pasta, and rice will make you fat. يعني in other words الخبز بنصح أضرب شي الخبز خفف خبز بالليل. Pasta, some people say pasta and rice are the worst. So what do you think? It's all about the calories. Overeating anything makes you fat if consumed in high amounts. Okay, excess. Okay, guys, this is a very, very big myth. Okay, the carbohydrates themselves, yani the fact of being a carbohydrate does not make it more fattening than other nutrients. As some of you said it, an excess of anything that contains calories will lead to body weight gain, but it's not the carbohydrates per se themselves that will make you gain weight. And actually, when studies that look at people who have lost weight and maintained the lost weight for 5 years, which is considered relatively permanent, are people who are eating more carbohydrates, not less carbohydrates, but they're eating less fat, because fat is more caloric, and therefore they have reduced their caloric intake. And I know you've heard a lot about low carbohydrate diets leading to weight loss. And actually, in the first stages, low carbohydrate diets, they lead to weight loss because they trick the body into a fake starvation mode. Okay, and the body will end up losing a lot of water and some muscles. Okay, so definitely it's kind of a fake weight loss. Plus, when you are on a low carbohydrate diet, you have very low energy level, a bad breath because you're producing ketone bodies. Usually you're in a bad mood because you don't have this quick energy, okay? And you feel also very tired. And what happens, and this is really, really a classic, a person who is on a very low carbohydrate diet will lose this weight on the scale, which is mostly water, some muscle, and very little fat. And after a while, so they're very happy with themselves first because it's very quick, they have cravings. Because our body is the best to tell us what we need. Our body is in need for carbohydrates. They're our only source of quick energy with the glucose circulating in our blood. The glucose is our unit of energy. It comes from carbs. So after a while, a person on a low carbohydrate diet will have huge cravings. The body will ask for pasta, will ask for dough, will ask for carbohydrates. So that's why, and the person usually ends up gaining much more weight. I'm going to pick up a couple of questions. So you asked about the keto diet. Yes, the keto diet is just another type of low carbohydrate diet. The keto, the Atkins diet, the Dukan diet, they are all the same diet with different names, but basically different tricks, but basically they all imply the same, okay? What can I pick up in the questions? How often can we have a cheat day? I'm not a believer really in cheat days, but usually we're not robots. It's fine. We cannot eat healthy and perfect every day. So it's fine once a week to indulge in a very good meal, even if we're trying to lose weight. It's not good to deprive your body a lot. Protein diet is exactly the same as a low carb diet. A low carb diet is a diet that is high in protein. Aren't new studies trying to prove that calorie counts are somehow inaccurate? Some studies are trying to prove that, but until now, calorie count is very accurate. The only thing that is not good is obsessing on calorie counts. So that's why if you're trying to lose weight, it's not a good idea to go and count the calories of everything you eat. It will just make you obsessive. On the contrary, it's better to change towards healthier habits, healthier foods, and then you will simply lose weight just by changing your habits and your behaviors. Okay. Of course, I don't recommend keto or protein diet. Now, I just have here a list of some other common myths. Okay, I'm just going to read them to you. We can keep them for the discussion because, well, I'm supposed to end my talk at 4:45. So I'm going to read them to you so that we can go to the tips that I want to give you, just some quick tips, and then we'll do an open discussion. So gluten-free foods are healthier. You can lose 8 kilograms in 2 weeks. It is better to eat egg whites compared to egg yolks. Eating spices leads to belly fat loss. Diets should be tailored to blood type. They are other myths, and there are so many more. And this is just to emphasize, okay, that you need to, whatever nutritional information that you read, you need to read it with a critical eye. It is a big money-making industry. People want to sell diet books, want to sell diets. Everyone wants a trick to lose weight. So please, whenever you read information, try to read it with a critical eye. Try to go to reliable websites Please don't hesitate to email me. If I can help you, I'd be more than happy. And please really refer to the right people. Just for Maha Al-Ghul, who was saying that her kids have celiac disease. Celiac disease is a genetic condition for which, yes, absolutely gluten should be completely eliminated from the diet. But there has been this big false propaganda about gluten. And so everyone thinks now that they should stop gluten. And this is absolutely wrong. It's just for people who have this condition, celiac disease, akid, they have to eliminate it. Now, let me give you the tips, and then we can have a discussion session. So, what are my concluding remarks? It's a bit slow. So, try to make the most out of this period. As I was telling you, it is a unique opportunity. It is an opportunity to make new habits, okay? It is an opportunity to change things, to learn recipes. Really, you can, to be physically active, to really get used to being physically active within the house, doing certain activities, to replace certain old habits with new habits. I'd like you to make smart decisions at the grocery store. So for example, there is a classic, okay? If there is Nutella at home, I'm giving an example, some people would not be able to control themselves. If they are bored or if they got angry on something, they're gonna go to this jar of Nutella, okay? Simply do not buy the Nutella at the supermarket, okay? Or the chocolate paste or whatever it is. Try not to have the items that you think are unhealthy and you have a tendency to go to, okay? If you're bored or you're angry or you're stressed, okay? Tell my husband not to buy Nutella. I would tell your husband, if he wants to buy Nutella, to hide it from you. So this is something that we do in the house also, we hide it. So you can help yourself, you know? You can, if things are not available, it will help you to make the right choices. So be careful at the grocery store and try not to go when you're hungry in general. Eat meals at regular times, okay? Really, it's good to have meals sitting around a table, even if you're alone, sit at the table and eat without disturbances, without the TV, without you chatting on WhatsApp at the same time. You will eat much less because you will take your time and you'll be able to listen to your body telling you that you're full, okay? So try to eat slowly, mindfully, engage in conversation. Believe me, it can chop off your intake if you're overeating by 20, 30% very, very easily. So this is very important. Plus, you get to bond more with the people you actually live with. Include only healthy, low-calorie items at snacks. I think that that's very important because saying don't snack is not realistic, okay? Especially usually between lunch and dinner, people get hungry and it is good to snack, it's fine. But you can make it a rule that whatever I consume as a snack, I want it to be something healthy. It can be air pop popcorn, easy to make, fun to make with kids as well. Unsweetened cereals, a fruit. Make it a point انه كل شيء راح اكله برات الميلز I'm gonna have it as something healthy. When I organized my meals, I lost weight. Exactly. It's very important to be organized. Someone is asking about nuts. Nuts can be a snack. They're very healthy, but again, they are caloric. So just you have to limit the amount. Don't take the pack with you and go in front of the TV. Take a small amount, an individual portion, and consume it. A spoon of honey and peanut butter in the morning is very fine as well. For wine, for alcohol, again, what is your goal? Is your goal to lose weight or not to lose weight? Wine up to 1 glass a day is fine for the health, it's okay. But if you're looking to lose weight, this might add also to your caloric intake. What else do we have here? Also, a trick is to include vegetables at every meal, okay? If in the morning I'm تاكلوا, I don't know, نص منقوشة أو منقوشة, include tomatoes, cucumbers, etc. At every meal, try to include vegetables. I'm not talking about a salad. It can be any vegetables. Blue beard is already vegetables, okay? Lano vegetables are super rich. They're super rich in vitamins and minerals, but they're very, very poor in calories. Plus, they are rich in fiber, يعني بيشبعوا. So it's a very good trick to kind of fill you up, and while not increasing your calorie intake. Also, you have to move, especially during this period that is very stressful. The recommendation is to have 30 minutes of exercise per day. This is nothing. You can reach it very easily. You can walk in your living room for 30 minutes. Okay, you can do it while chatting, while singing, or you can do it with the kids. It's so good for your physical and your mental health, and this is proven. So especially if you have a moment where you feel down, just go and do some physical activity. Whatever you want to do, you want to walk around, you want to put a gym class on your Instagram or on YouTube, but just do it. Do these 30 minutes per day. They will increase your metabolism, so you will be burning significantly more calories. It will improve your health, whether you have hypertension, type 2 diabetes, or whatever, or if you have nothing at all, and it will definitely improve your mental health, your sense of well-being, your sense of control over your life. كل هيدا, this is evidence-based, okay? Let me see. Okay, the last thing I want to say, and really, I want you guys to believe me. Okay, I didn't know how to say it in a better way, that we are not robots. No one, and actually it would be unhealthy to eat perfectly every day. It would be it would be a trait of obsessiveness and over perfectionism. It is not a goal to never eat pizza or never eat ice cream or never eat Nutella. This is not being healthy. Being healthy is having a balance, okay? So have realistic goals. Remove all the temptations from your house. Establish a schedule of meals. Include vegetables. But it's fine if one day بدكم تخبصوها and have, I don't know, fried chicken with fries, etc. It's fine. This is being healthy. Being healthy is allowing ourselves to eat a bit of everything, but not eat unhealthy and very large amounts all the time, okay? So try to put a bit of discipline. Try to enjoy this time with whoever you are living with, and try to make new habits of healthy eating and movement while you are at home. And these habits, you will keep them. You will no longer think about them. You will keep them whenever we go back to normal life. Now, I really hope that the information that I gave you is useful, okay? That I debunked some myth for you. And I'm gonna open the session for questions. Before I open the session for questions, there are two things that I'd like to say, because I know some of you will leave during the questions. First of all, I'm currently conducting a study, a survey-based study on eating habits and psychosocial health. It's just a 12-minute survey. My colleague, Claire Jour, will post the link on the chat box now. Some of you have already filled it, it seems. So please, if you could follow the link and fill this survey. It's purely anonymous, of course. It would be very useful to get some more data on the topic. And the other thing that I'd like to say is that tomorrow, the webinar at 4 p.m. will be given by Dr. Pia Tame. It's about parenting during COVID-19 confinement. So parenting tips. I'm definitely gonna attend this, so please don't miss it as well. And now I will open the floor to discussion. My pleasure. So I'll try to answer as many questions as I can, okay? So what do you think about 5 to 7 days water fast from time to time? Again, I am completely against, okay? Because this fits into fasting. okay, and it doesn't do any good to the body. You end up overeating after the fast is over, and again, you do not actually you do not cleanse your body more than eating regularly. What about caffeine consumption? Caffeine consumption is actually not unhealthy at all. As long as you're below, you're at 4 or 5 cups maximum per day, coffee consumption is not bad for health. It actually has some benefits. However, for people who have a tendency to be anxious, high coffee consumption, you know, it can it fastens the heart rate, so it can lead to increased stress. Again, I'm sorry لأنه there are so many questions ما رح لحق على كل شيء, so I'm gonna pick them up, okay, as when I see them. Don't worry, you can write them again. What is the daily need of water? The daily need of water, so 2 liters of water per day is excellent, okay? I would say as a general recommendation for everyone, 2 liters of water is good. But you know, physically active people might need more. If it's hot weather, you might need more, but 2 liters usually covers most people's drinks. Ghee and coconut oil, they are not healthy. They are rich in saturated fats, so they are just like oil. We say it's mostly the good fat. Ghee and coconut oil, they are higher on the bad fats, the fats that are not good for heart health. So I would not recommend them. Disadvantages of mate, you know, I'm not really familiar with it, so I'd rather not answer. What about raw vegan diets? I'm sorry, it's going so fast. Vegan diets, you can get all your needs from a vegan diet, but it's just going to be a lot of work, okay? So because you're not eating dairy products and you're not eating any meat, and so it's very hard to get good quality protein, and it's actually it's tough to eat vegan, and until now there are no benefits on health of being vegan. It's just that people who are not vegetarian or not vegan, they don't eat healthy. That's why they might have more diseases. But if you eat a complete diet and you eat dairy products, you actually it's better for your body. It's more complete. The 38 calorie light hot chocolate is a good snack. My husband has it very frequently. He enjoys it a lot. It's a good trick. Nothing against it. Adding ginger and turmeric. Oh no, 1 second, my chat box, I can't see it anymore. Let me try to make my chat box bigger so that I can read everything. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, I'm skipping some messages, but it's just going so quickly. Ginger and turmeric, they're natural herbs. They have some benefits. It's very good to include them in your cooking. They're not going to harm you, on the contrary, but please don't think of them as medicine, okay? They're just very healthy. They have benefits, but they will not heal you or completely prevent you from getting a disease that you might get because of other lifestyles or because of your genes. Thoughts on milk and cheeses from the diet, safe to eat. Guys, safe to eat? No, they're not safe to eat. They're not necessarily unsafe, but the problem is that الجبنة البلدية واللبنة البلدية, they did not go through pasteurization. So I'm not against consuming them, but please, if you want to consume them, make sure that you are consuming them from people who know what they are doing. When they are making them, they are making them in conditions of high sanitation and hygiene. So that would be my issue. Low FODMAPs, I'm going to talk about them. Dark chocolate quantity per day, it's in moderation, okay? Again, no magic effects of dark chocolate. I have nothing against chocolate, but just moderation. A small quantity. If it's daily, I would say مثلا 2 squares of the big tablet. The FODMAP diet, this is a very specific question. The low FODMAP diet, this is a diet that has shown a lot of benefits for people who have a lot of gases and who have intestinal conditions such as Crohn's disease. They have inflammatory bowel diseases. And yes, the low FODMAP diet is very good for them, for people who have a tendency for a lot of discomfort and gases and who have inflammations in their gut. But for people who don't, you don't need to. You can consume the foods that have FODMAPs. Sunflower oil is fine. It's a vegetable oil. No problem with it. Should we eat only when we are hungry? That's a tricky one. I would say don't let yourself get too hungry, because if you're too hungry, you're gonna overeat. So بالعكس, I would say don't snack if you're not hungry, okay? But try to eat your meals at regular times, even if you're not super hungry, because you balance out all the hormones, the hunger hormones, etc. in your body. Thoughts on artificial sweeteners? Okay, artificial sweeteners. I know there has been a lot of talk on the fact that they're unhealthy, and this comes from animal studies, okay? يعني obviously أنا إذا بدي I want to see the effects of artificial sweeteners. ما في إجي تعمل human subject يلا تعالوا رح أعطيكم كل واحد 15 cans of diet coke و20 sachet كونديريل. This is and رح شوف إذا رح يصير معكم سرطان. Of course, this is not ethical. So experiments have been done on mice and rats وشافوا إنه artificial sweeteners يلي مثل الأسبارتام they increase disease risk. بس أنا إذا جيت I translated هيدا البودي weight مثلا your average rat is 200 grams. If I multiply what I gave him to a human body weight بيطلع huge amounts. Whereas إذا بعطيه amount صغيرة that is comparable to how many diet cokes or holy sugar replacement sachets I will take, they don't have any side effects. So that's why and they are still allowed. And personally, I think that you will die from something else. But still, some people say, well, if at huge doses, they are bad for health, أنا ما بدي أخذ حتى شوي. And another note, إنه هن the diet sodas, they are extremely unhealthy. ما خص the sugar replacers يلي فيهم. They're extremely unhealthy because they're extremely acidic. So definitely, I don't recommend them. But if you're gonna have your soda daily, then you can replace it with the diet soda أكيد. Okay, they're telling me, Nad, let's wrap up from the administration. So I have to wrap up, although I'm very happy discussing this with you. So if you have more questions, please don't hesitate to email the Continuing Education Office, or you can directly email me as well. I will write my email for you in the chat box. So nadine.zeeni@lau.edu.lb. Thank you for this experience. I know we reached around 180 participants at some point. I'm overwhelmingly happy. And please don't hesitate. If you want to chat, just drop an email. And please complete the survey, please. I need to collect around 100 more. So, and have a great afternoon, guys. Claire, best if you could put the link again if you're still here. Bye, everyone.